Hi, this is Dan Bullard, retired electronics engineer, sitting on the front deck of my houseboat again. Got a surprise. We'll see if I can last long enough to get it. I want to talk to you about some pretty cool things. I want to show you this thing I saw on Daily Dose of Aviation. They showed this helicopter coming in for a landing, and notice that its blades aren't moving. Why is that? The blades are clearly rotating, otherwise they couldn't be flying, right? They don't have a crane hanging onto it. What's going on, of course, is that the blades are aliasing. The rotation rate and the frame rate of the camera are exactly the same, or they're multiples. So these blades are going around. They're stationary as far as you're concerned, but that's aliasing, and that's really cool, but there's no synchronization here, and that's a problem, because if the pilot changes the RPM of the engine at all, you would see the blade starting to rotate one way or the other. Now, with coherent sampling, you get this effect too, but it's absolute. It never changes, or it can't change, it won't change. And so you will have perfect synchronization. The blades will not move, period. And so you can examine the blades. You can look at the blade and see that they're doing what they're supposed to do. You can make sure that they're canting the right way. You can look at them to see if there's any damage on the blades. You can't do that if you use non-coherent sampling. If you don't have synchronization between the driver and the capture instrument, that is the AWG and the analog capture instrument, then you can't do that. But this is just a coincidence. This is really fortunate little coincidence. Okay. Another one I want to talk about, I go in and look at this stuff on Stack Overflow. I can't get a break from these guys. I did this post about, you've seen my Applicos video, hopefully, where I clip a sine wave on the bottom. So I posted that on Stack Overflow, and I said, what's going on with these humps? Why do we have humps? And the most ridiculous answers came out. I finally gave up and said, okay, I didn't ask why there are harmonics. I asked why the harmonic signature looks that specific way. I clipped the wave at 243.84725. Okay, this thing's coming. Oh my God. Okay, you get to see it. Dan Bullard, self-answering is fine, but can you please summarize the conclusion reached in your video? Why do I have to do that? This is a gravel barge. She's carrying gravel from Scappoose, which supposedly in Indian lore means gravel, land of gravel. So they're bringing all this gravel to somewhere important. And they do this maybe once a day, maybe twice a day, maybe they don't do it at all. Sometimes they don't go this way, they go up to Columbia. So it's one of the tugs. And it's pretty cool because they do this all the time. And they go slow so we don't have to worry about too much of a wake. You can see not much of a wake coming. But these guys came back and said self-answering is fine, except then they said this answer is hidden. The answer was deleted and converted to a comment. Well, if self-answering is fine, then why did you delete my answer? You know, that's the answer. They were upset that I sent them off to a video and that would detract from people interacting on their website. But, I mean, this is about the truth. I can't explain in 1,000 words right here how this works. I've written 3 books on the topic. You can buy the book and get the explanations there. You can watch my videos. You can read my articles on LinkedIn. These guys at Stack Overflow are just awful. You can't get a break. They won't listen to anything. And I've given up. I don't go back there, but occasionally I do because I want to see if anything's been appended or anything, and I shouldn't go there. It's really awful. I had to have this discussion with someone. I won't tell you who, but they said, "Oh, Dan, you should really design a new chip that incorporates your laws into the chip so that you can get rid of all harmonics." That's not what I did this for. Did Einstein come up with a way to make a spacecraft that would go across the universe with no time dilation? No. He said time dilation is an issue, and do we use that? Yes, there is a practical use for that now with GPS satellites, but that didn't come from Einstein. People took that into account when they developed the GPS satellites, and now the clocks in the GPS satellites are offset according to how fast they're orbiting the Earth, because that means that time is slowing down for them, and that's a problem for GPS because GPS relies on time. I'm a little bit younger than I would have been if I had been on the ground all the time, because I flew all over the world. I flew to Europe, I flew to Asia, I flew to all kinds of places, and so every time I flew somewhere, I was changing my time, so I'm like, maybe a picosecond younger than I really would have been if I'd stayed on the ground. But that's, it's not important, it's not critical, but it's true. Einstein proved that. So I'm not saying that I discover something that'll make chips better. I'm not doing that. I'm saying that these are laws of physics. They don't apply to just our electronics, they apply to everything. Einstein didn't qualify what he said, the stuff that he said is true for everything. The stuff that I'm saying is true for everything. All waves, every kind of wave. Sound waves, light waves, everything. But it's more apparent in electronics because we do FFTs on the signals. But there are guys who do FFTs on sound waves, on vibration waves, everything. And modal analysis. I worked with a guy at Genred who worked in modal analysis. And that's measuring vibration and doing an FFT on it. In fact, that's the first time I was introduced to the FFT. That was way back in the 1980s. So, these are laws of physics. And I've proven already that I'm smarter than Feynman. And PBS said that Feynman was second only to Einstein. So, Feynman's wrong, I'm right. So I'm second only to Einstein, and maybe I'm smarter than Einstein. I'll tell you one thing about Einstein. Einstein screwed his cousin. He slept with his cousin. He married his cousin. I never touched my cousins. I have nice cousins. They're nice people. I enjoy their company, and I talk to them quite often. But I never fucked my cousins. Not like Einstein did. So I'm a better man than Einstein. I'm a better man than Feynman. Feynman's dead, Einstein's dead, but I can still be better than him. Anyway, so once again, from the river, this is Dan Bullard. See ya.